thought he went to go leave us.
Well, they were already left by the time he got there, but I'm here.
Running through the streets like one
Oh, they're coming down. Yeah. My favorite part of the war is the trucks and the.
I know he's delivering food for everyone, but at this point, they just need to move them along. Did you hear that? I heard that. I heard it done. I heard like a little.
I like how he calls for me. He just yells back.
Might be.
Oh god, somebody's gonna step in that.
No, the horse walked right by there.
That's called action. You know what I mean? So anyway.
Second hero.
You can hear it. Yep. I'm trying to see if they're coming down from this. I think they might be coming out of Harrison. Yeah, you can hear it now. Yeah, it looks like they must be coming in.
Why aren't you walking? Really? Why? I saw
but I said I'm going to go now. They sound like they're on the top. I was at like
Well,
they don't realize we have a business people along here. I can see the parade. I think. Feeling better.
she was right.
I said, yeah, but I don't know what roads are coming down. Yeah. Well, I think like I've seen. But Brightwood Square's not that way. It's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
So going down, like I can see fire trucks, I can see police, but they look like they're on my street.
I'm gonna go down and see what's down at the corner. I want to see where we can see.
Okay.
But I never saw her.
Only in the backyard.
I told Aiden, I was like, you better watch. She got featured in Edmund magazine. Go!
People walking down there. I mean, it's High Street, but it doesn't make sense because Bartlett's down there. I would think they would have just came from over there.
Oh, Uncle Tony found us.
It's not
I'm Casey.
I volunteered for the wrong thing.
Where do you want me to put it, James? Yeah, you know, I volunteered on the wrong day though. Oh, really? Rewarding. Shut up. No, I volunteered.
We're right there at the top there.
They'll probably take them down. This way.
stays, but the catcher took me antelope 2 whole days. Goddamn them all. I was told we cruised the seas for American gold. We fired no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. And in length we stood 2 cables away. I wish I was in Sherbrooke now. Our craft 4 pounders made an awful beam, bubbled 1 fat ball, the Yanks stole us in. Goddamn them all. I was told we cruised the seas for American gold. We fired no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
You love them. Oh, they are. Okay.
In the old movie, yeah. That's
So when I get down to the square, we should go down there. No, right, the better side. Do you know
Completely around.
That's the finish.
That's how many people walk.
No match.
Nobody saw that happen.
Nobody saw it.
Nothing.
No, nothing. We didn't see.
That's where I live. I don't. I got no. No. Hold on my
Tyranny.
got rained on, huh? Not bad. Not good. Driving up. Yeah.
gonna be like, you would need
Yes,
You got it? Alright, come if you need anything.
I think that's it.
We're in a good spot.
Well done.
Good morning again, everyone, and welcome to Newburyport's Rev 250. If some people could clear the way, we will present the colors from the United States Coast Guard Honor Guard. Honor Guard, please come forward.
Company, handle up. Rest your rest. Pile up. Go. Pile up.
No, it's only one question.
At this time, I would ask you to remove your caps for the national anthem performed by the Middlesex County Volunteer Fife and Drums.
Company, present.
Salute. Again, good morning. I'm Bob Cronin, President of the Custom House Maritime Museum. The Custom House is proudly co-sponsoring this event with the Museum of Old Newbury and the City of Newburyport. A special thank you to the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, Director Kate Fox, Rev 250, Sheila Green, and of course, Governor Healy. Thank you for the grants. parade and the Road to Revolution series that was hosted by the Museum of Old Newbury. I would be totally remiss if I did not thank the Custom House Executive Director James Russell, Director Tom Coleman, and the board for assisting in putting this event together. "250 years ago, news was spread by alert riders, like you saw riding actually through Market Square here. These riders brought news of the British incursion into Salem, now called Leslie's Retreat, in February 1775, and the fighting at Lexington and Concord. Local men responded to those calls, as well as to Boston and Bunker Hill, where many never returned. On June 15th, George Washington was named commander of the Continental Army. This news would have taken about 2 weeks to arrive. 200 years ago today, this news might likely have been delivered to a meeting house or to a central location like this bullnose. From those alerts, Newburyport unleashed a force of privateers against the British Royal Navy, and 22 of those ships never returned, with an estimated 1,000 souls who were lost at sea. Today we honor the war dead at battlefield sites throughout the country, but not for these young lads and sailors like them that found a watery, unmarked grave. But through their tenacity and bravery, today we stand as free and an independent nation. As such, I would now like to introduce the Mayor of Newburyport, Mayor Sean Reardon. Mayor Reardon has been a frequent visitor to the Custom House, and I actually think he's the first sitting mayor to steer a tall ship up the Merrimack River. Mayor Reardon.
Thank you, Captain Bob. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's a good staff. Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful but wet day here in Newburyport. I don't think we can ever have a bad day in Newburyport. So it's just a tremendous honor to welcome you all here today for this special event, the Road to the Revolution Parade, part of our Commonwealth's Rev 250 celebration, marking the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. I want to begin by welcoming and thanking Governor Maura Healey for joining us here today. Governor, your presence helps underscore just how important this moment is, not just for Newburyport, but for our entire state, as we reflect and honor our legacy and shared history. Thank you, Governor Healey. I also want to thank Congressman Seth Moulton. I want to thank Senator Bruce Tarr and Representative Don Shan, as well as our wonderful City Council for being here today. Congressman Moulton was instrumental in helping us secure the funding for our waterfront bulkhead project last year that we finished, so thank you all for being here today. Newburyport played a vital role in the American Revolution. This city, built on shipbuilding, trade, and fierce independence, was home to merchants, sailors, ship captains, and everyday citizens who stood up for liberty and self-governance. We raised privateers, sent men to battle, and lent our voices and our ships to the cause of American freedom. Our waterfront was more than a hub of commerce. It was a launch pad for revolution. As we gather today in celebration, we not only look back with pride, we also look forward with purpose. The ideals that shaped the revolution, freedom, justice, community, are the very values that continue to guide us as a city and a commonwealth. This parade is a reminder that history lives on, not just in books or buildings, but in the spirit of our people, the pride in our schools, and the energy of our neighborhoods. We celebrate today not just to remember, but to reaffirm who we are and where we're going. Thank you to all the organizers, volunteers, and participants who made today possible. Thank you to our local historical societies, our students and families, our community leaders, and everyone who helped bring our history to life right here on the streets of Newburyport. And once again, thank you, Governor Healey, for being part of this remarkable day. Long live the spirit of 1775. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. It is now my privilege to introduce the Governor of Massachusetts. Governor Maura Healey has deep local roots in Newburyport. The governor is a descendant of the first settlers of Newbury and his family throughout the greater Newburyport area. With that distinction Governor Healy has quite an extended family marching in this parade, some actually on stage. Governor Healy, welcome home.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Newburyport. Good morning, Newbury. Good morning, Amesbury. Good morning, Salisbury, even, right? Some people cross over. Listen, it's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much, Bob Cronin, for your leadership today. Doesn't he look fantastic? Unbelievable. Thank you, Mayor Reardon, for welcoming me home today. It's great to be here with you. Great to be here with Congressman Moulton, Senator Tarr, Representative Shand, the members of the City Council, and this vibrant Newburyport community. You know, we're here today to celebrate a truly historic moment for our country. Understand, this whole country, we live in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. And it started right here in Massachusetts. From a bridge in Concord to a green in Lexington, to some activity that took place in Boston Harbor, and of course, all the stuff, the powerful stuff that happened right here where we are. Take that in. You know, we'll be celebrating this great country all over the United States for the next year and a half, couple years. But there's no place in America that gets to celebrate it like Massachusetts. That's awesome. So this is a milestone, and it's not just a celebration of our independence, but it's really an affirmation of our values: freedom, liberty, representation, resilience, the spirit of innovation. And as we look back on these last 250 years, we're reminded that this is the place, and Newburyport right here, the place where the seeds of democratic values took root and where the fight for independence began. That's pretty cool. As Bob said, I'm pretty familiar with these parts. My ancestors, shout out to the sons and daughters of the first settlers in Newbury, landed on the Parker River in 1636. We've had family here ever since. And I can tell you, I understand Newburyport's pivotal role in our revolution. Our port, right here, representing the heart of trade and commerce and naval operations. The waterfront today remains a testament to the resilient legacy of our maritime heritage. But in the earliest days, it was about those privateers who set out, just like it was farmers and tradesmen who took to the green in Lexington and on the hill in Concord and in Charlestown as well, right? People who just came together. They were trained, sort of, not really, but they had a lot of courage. They had a lot of courage, and they had a purpose. They had a purpose and a mission. And that is something we call on today, we honor today, we celebrate today. They defended our communities, put their lives on the line, and launched this great nation. And of course, they didn't stop there. We haven't stopped for 250 years. Those events defined a revolutionary spirit that we embody today. Because at every moment of our history, we have sent up the beacon and held the lantern, lighted the way for others. Newburyport, leading the abolitionist movement to resist and end slavery, right here in Newburyport. Leading the women's rights movement and universal suffrage, leading on civil rights, the right to education, the right to health care. Because at our best, in Massachusetts, we lead the charge. That legacy defines who we are. So shout out to everyone who's here. Awesome to see our members of the Coast Guard. Massachusetts, home to the birthplace of the Coast Guard, right here, right here. Also, birthplace of the United States Navy, the National Guard, and those Marines as well. It was George Washington that sent the first Marines forward right from Massachusetts. We got a proud history here in Massachusetts and a proud history right here in Newburyport. So let's celebrate and embrace the moment. Welcome to the folks from Fall River who made the distance and the travel here today. Great to see you as well. Museum as well. You guys are incredible. Thank you. I wish many people should come and celebrate this wonderful place over the next 18 months especially. Spend a lot of money, help the local economy, and show off what is truly, truly special about Massachusetts and America. Let's be inspired, let's be energized, let's be motivated, and let's live up to the legacy of our ancestors and stand up for freedom today. Thank you. Happy 250th!
Thank you, Governor. Newburyport, as the Governor just said, is the birthplace of the United States Coast Guard, and that was formalized by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965. Newburyport is also a Coast Guard city and a host community to Station Merrimack River. The Colonial Navy of Massachusetts and Newburyport salute the Coast Guard with their hymn, Semper Paratus, always ready. This program just gets better and better. Our next speaker, we're going to change it up a little bit, has deep roots in the community. Parker Jackman is a 14-year-old rising freshman at Newburyport High School. He's an intern at the Custom House and an apprentice at Lowell's Boat Shop. He's a direct descendant of Elias Jackman, founder of the world-famous Jackman Shipyard established in 1780. Parker, in fact, built this podium that we are using today at Lowell's Boat Shop. It's built to resemble a clipper ship. Parker can also claim George Washington Jackman, the 7th mayor of Newburyport, in his lineage. Parker, come on up.
Thanks, Bob, for that great introduction. Today, I'm going to be reading a speech that President Ronald Reagan gave on July 4th, 1986. 56 men came forward to sign the parchment. It was noted at the time that they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honors and that was more than rhetoric. Each of those men knew the penalty for high treason to the crown. We must all hang together, Benjamin Franklin said, or assuredly we will all hang separately. And John Hancock, it is said, wrote a signature in large script so King George could see it without his spectacles. They were brave. They stayed brave through all the bloodshed of the coming years. Their courage created a nation built on a universal claim to human dignity, on the proposition that every man, woman, and child had a right to a future of freedom. For just a moment, let us listen to the words again. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We reflect on all the millions who came here in search of the dream of freedom. We reflect too on their courage in coming great distances and settling in a foreign land, and then passing on to their children and their children's children the hope that is America, is a hope that someday every people of every nation of the world will know the blessings of liberty. Thank you.
Middlesex County volunteers, fife and drums, if you could.
Five, 10, drum. Seaman, idle.
Seth Moulton is the U.S. Representative for the 6th Congressional District and a Salem native. As a Marine Corps captain, Congressman Moulton shares the Marine Corps lineage dating back to November 10th, 1775. He served 4 tours in Iraq and is a recipient of the Bronze Star with a V for Valor and the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal for Valor. Congressman Bolton.
Thank you, Newburyport. It's an honor to be here with so many distinguished people, most of all you, the citizens. But it's a tough act to follow, following Parker with his long lineage, following our governor whose family came here in 1636. Our family lore is that we didn't come until 1637, a bit north of here. So behind you in that too, Governor. But I grew up in Marblehead and went to the Glover Elementary School. And of course it was Glover's regiment that rode Washington across the Delaware. All Marbleheaders, a very racially diverse group, in fact. Marblehead would take anyone. And they fought hard on a lot colder, rainier days than this. Of course, Marblehead taught me that it is the birthplace of the American Navy. The first U.S. Navy ship, the Hannah, was manned out of Marblehead. But as the congressman, I have to acknowledge there is a debate with Beverly where the ship was retrofitted. And this is a controversy that has not yet been settled by a president like Lyndon Johnson. Now I live in Salem, the birthplace of the National Guard, and it has been my honor to represent Newburyport, the birthplace of the Coast Guard. So yes, there is a lot of history here in Massachusetts. But I think when you're growing up with that history, especially when you're young, you look at it as old. It happened a long time ago. It must be old people. Sometimes a lot of old folks show up to parades and historical celebrations. No comment on anything here. But the thing to remember is that so many of those volunteers, those fighters, those warriors who brought us our freedom were very young. They're like some of the guys in the front row here. I was reminded of this when I got woken up in the middle of the night in a tent in Kuwait and said, we're going to invade. And after I got my instructions and went to wake up my platoon, my company commander said, oh wait, one more thing, Lieutenant Bolton. These two are with you. And he pointed to two 17-year-olds who had just been flown over to Kuwait, their first day on active duty in the Marine Corps fleet was invading a foreign country. That's what it was like in the early days of this revolution. There were old volunteers, there were young volunteers, but so many on the front lines were very young Americans. And the amazing history of this country is that we have always been a country of volunteers. That's the amazing thing about America. We're not a country that's ever gotten it all right, but we've always believed that we might. And it's been up to volunteers to stand up and fight for those freedoms. Now, some would say that Massachusetts is under attack again today, not by a king in England, but by other forces that wish us ill. And so it's an especially important time to remember the governor's message, that it did start here, that we understand those values of freedom, of democracy, of a right to free speech, to say what you believe. Those are fundamentally American values. And so as we commemorate Newburyport's role in the fight for independence, let's also recommit to the work of strengthening that independence in our time, with truth, with leadership, and with service to something greater than ourselves. So thank you to all the volunteers, the historians, the veterans, the men and women on active duty, the musicians, and yes, the young people who made today possible. It's not just a celebration, it's a continuation of the American story. So let's honor it, let's live up to it, and let's carry it forward. Thank you, Newburyport, and happy 250th
Colonial Navy, if you make it so, please. Senator Bruce Tarr was elected state senator in 1995. Prior to that, he served in the Massachusetts legislature. Senator Tarr is a strong supporter of the Custom House Maritime Museum. He is also an avid boater, marine safety advocate, and a new fact that I found out recently, he's a Revolutionary War reenactor who participated in the Battle of Bunker Hill in his hometown of Gloucester. Senator Tarr.
Well, thank you very much, Captain Bob, and I want to congratulate you on debuting the new uniform for board members of the Custom House today, and I look forward to seeing that in the future. You know, it is so great to see all of you coming out to do what is so American. Standing in the public square, speaking about what we believe in, and celebrating liberty. It's great to be here, and it's great to see all my shipmates from the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. Thank you so much for being here today. And it is true, Bob, last weekend I had the honor of representing my ancestor, Jabez Tarr, who was among the youngest people from Cape Ann to fight at the Battle of Bunker Hill. And I was honored to do that with the Lexington Company of Minutemen. Gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing me to have that experience with you. I want to say thanks to the Custom House, to the Museum of Old Newbury, to the City of Newburyport, to everyone that knows how important this is and came out today to commemorate it. Sure, there was a little bit of rain. But does rain really matter when you're celebrating liberty? No! So here we are today, and we think back to those moments in history. We think back to those moments in history when liberty was not a given, democracy was not a given, freedom was not a given. And for every step we take along that road to revolution, we think about the brave men and women, the families who with each step they took, moved us closer and closer and closer to being the greatest beacon of freedom the world has ever known. And we remember their sacrifice. We remember those privateers that left this harbor and didn't come back so that freedom could come to shore. We remember those who fell in battle, facing the greatest army that the world had ever known at the time. saying, I will give everything I have so that everything I am will live on. And we celebrate the fact that they triumphed, because liberty and freedom and democracy should always triumph, even when you have to fight for it. And we think about how fortunate we are and how blessed we are to stand here today, all of us as Americans, to stand here today endowed with that blessing of liberty. And we think about the sacrifice that got us here, and we think about the road ahead. And we think about the fact that in 1775, they were on the road to revolution. In 2025, we are on the road to evolution. The road to make this a greater, stronger, more inclusive, more representative, more free United States of America. And to capture that great promise, that was embedded in the Declaration of Independence, that we are all created equal, and that our rights are endowed to each of us. And we think about the fact that the evolution continues. We remember those who fell. We remember those who sacrificed. And we remember our deep moral obligation to be worthy of who they were, what they did, and the opportunity that they created for all of us. Every day the sun rises to go out and make our community, our nation, and our world a better place. Let's remember that today. Let's honor them, because at events like this, we commemorate war, but we celebrate freedom. Now, in those days that we remember today and we commemorate today, when they were enthusiastic about something, they said, huzzah! So I'm going to give us a chance to do that 3 times. Are you with me? Yeah. Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! May God bless the United States of America. Thank you all very much.
Representative Dawn Chan is also with us, who represents the 1st Essex District and is a frequent visitor to the Custom House Maritime Museum. Her sister Heather is a city councilor. She's also here on stage, and both consider themselves adopted daughters of Newburyport. Representative Chan.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Bob. And thank you to my friends and inspiring colleagues in government. So today, we're reminded that our city helped start an American Revolution grounded in political dissent. I say that spark never died. Every day, we walk the same paths of people who, at great personal risk and over many generations, fought for what was right. Our abolitionists refused to retreat a single inch. Our suffragists were revolutionaries. Our visionary generation returned from a world war and rebuilt this city. Our preservationists defied the bulldozers of the 70s. Our modern-day trailblazers brought Afghani refugees fleeing war and made them our neighbors. Massachusetts has been fertile ground for a radical idea that we can make this nation better. So may we as Newburyporters always be in that vanguard. Thank you so much.
We saved the best for last. The Executive Director of the Museum of Old Newbury, Bethany Groff Durow. Bethany was a driving force behind the Road to Revolution project and has provided expert assistance in all things 1775 Newburyport. Bethany's experience doesn't end there. She is also the author of a book, A Newburyport Marine in World War I. We saluted this memorial to Eben Bradbury that we marched past today, who tragically lost his life in the Marine Corps in Belleau Woods, a famous landmark battle of the United States Marine Corps. Bethany.
Between the hat and the skirt, man, lucky I made it here. Hello, everyone. I am so proud of us. We've made it almost to the end of the people talking. And I hate to stand between anyone and lunch, so I'm going to make it pretty quick. I am so grateful to all of you for coming out, to all of you for coming out on this day to celebrate this incredible community, past and present. Extra thanks to Governor Healy and the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism for your support of our full season of programs that focused our attention and energy on the crucial role that this community played on the road to, and soon we'll be talking about through, the revolution. To our partners in this endeavor, most notably, of course, the Custom House Maritime Museum, our board, our staff, our volunteers, thank you so much. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, James. And I have to say, in the spirit of true diversity, 2 of our interns are actually in His Majesty's Regiment of Foot, and the rest are wearing colonial garb. So there you go. We're an inclusive group here. Many of you are aware of Governor Healy's, we've made you aware of Governor Healy's Newburyport roots. You are, in fact, my 5th cousin, as you may know. I think I have the award for Mrs. Inbred Townie of Newburyport. I am descended from 52 of the first settlers, many of them many times over. Don't do that math. But I'm also here to tell you that Congressman Moulton, you are my 10th cousin. Your ancestor stayed in Salisbury, but his brother came to Newburyport and is buried at the Sawyer Hill Burying Ground. I would be happy to introduce you. And while we're here, Kate Fox and I are also 10th cousins. She is descended from Nicholas Noyce, allegedly the first gentleman who jumped off the boat in 1635. So we are both descended from Nicholas Noyce. And I have a feeling that Jabez Carr is somewhere up in my family tree, and I will be proving or disproving that when I get back to the office. Some of us define our communities by our family ties. Some of us define it by friends, neighbors, necessity, and safety. I'm convinced that however we all got here, this community is the center of the universe. Am I right? It certainly is the center of my universe. You are all the center of my universe. It was central to the American Revolution as well. Since February, we have centered Newburyport in the complicated early months of 1775, and we have struck a chord. Thousands of you have come out to in-person lectures, walking tours, burying ground strolls, which are my favorite thing in the whole world. I invite you all to come walk through some burying grounds with me. And Glee, we have so much fun. While tens of thousands more of you have watched videos, responded online, come to visit museums, etc. If I can leave you with a final thought, it is this. In 1775, when Newburyporters were gathering right here in the spot where you're standing, nobody knew how this was going to turn out. Think about that. Nobody knew what was going to happen next. What they did was pull together. These communities shared information, weapons, food, and encouragement. The Museum of Old Newbury has an incredible archive. Among that archive are papers where towns are writing back and forth to each other saying, we have gunpowder, do you have cannonballs? We have sheep to feed soldiers, do you have wool? This is an incredible amount of exchange and information and mutual support. So let us continue that tradition. We are all of us better together. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for coming out, and go have lunch.
As we close, I would ask the United States Coast Guard Color Guard to shoulder arms and retire whence you came in.
Just relax.
I would ask the Middlesex County Volunteer Fife and Drums to pipe a finale for here. And ladies and gentlemen, exit that way.
Conwell, by the roll.
And we couldn't end without one Irish drinking song. So, the Gary Owen. Thank you. Thank everybody for coming, and have a great day. And one more huzzah. Huzzah!